Hey, amazing atheist, paulsego here. This tactic that you've been using lately of acting like you don't give a shit whether or not you're taken seriously or that you don't care is a tactic that sometimes young adolescent kids will use when they're confronted with something that they said or did and their position becomes non-defensible. Then they pretend they just don't give a fuck about it. And yet, a lot of the things that you've said regarding the ASU directly contradict that. You've presented the ASU as something that you care very deeply about, that you hope that someday will affect real change in society. And yet, when you're confronted with the very real question, a question that I think that the figurehead or spokesman for a movement should be able to answer, the question being, how do you expect to be taken seriously? And you have to realize, right, that you're going to have to be taken seriously. That you have to realize that. Am I right? One of the stated goals of your organization is to get legislation passed in this country, and we're not talking about small-scale local legislation. We're talking about national legislation banning the indoctrination of children, which, by the way, is ridiculous in its own right, but I'm not going to go off on that tangent. How do you expect that to happen? How do you expect that to happen and not have your movement taken seriously? You compare yourself to the Black Panther Party, who were taken very seriously in this country, perhaps for some of the wrong reasons, but I don't think that they were looked on as ass clowns, and I think that at this point, the way that you've been portraying yourself, you're going to be looked on as an ass clown. And that's fine if you don't give a shit. That's fine if it's true that you really don't give a shit what people think and you don't care if people take you seriously. And all you want to do is just make some really crazy videos on YouTube, and you want to gather a bunch of atheists together that also want to make some crazy videos, and you want to pick logos that you know nothing about, and then when you get called out about it, you want to toss off the criticism and not really answer the question, and just kind of flippantly bullshit your way through the answer, and maybe pull out your man titties and jiggle them for the camera a little bit. That's fine and dandy if that's the way that you want to be perceived. But looking at some of your earlier videos, I don't think that that's the case. I think that you really do care a lot about the ASU. I think that you really do hope that it's going to affect real change in society. And so I guess my question is, which one is it? Which one is it? Do you care about the ASU? Is it something that you take seriously? Is it something that you hope that society will eventually take seriously? Or is it just something that you're, clowning around with? Is it just something that you're fucking around with that you could give two shits and a fuck about? You give two shits and a fuck about what people think because it's not really serious in the first place. I don't really expect a serious answer to this video, but I think it's a question that needs to be asked.